Candidates, several plans to lower energy costs are far off, and people definitely need relief right now. Offshore wind in the Gulf of Maine will require massive federal investment before it is ready to go. Next generation nuclear power still several years away from becoming a reality. Many of your constituents are struggling this winter with the cost of high energy to heat their homes with natural gas. Do you support finding a way to bring more gas supply into New Hampshire to bring down those energy costs for those families as quickly as possible, Congressman Pappas?
Well, we have the highest energy costs in the nation because we're at the end of the pipeline. And we've got to make sure we're creating a more sustainable, diversified future with respect to our energy mix. That's why I supported investments in solar and wind and the kind of renewable energy that not only is going to help us lower costs, but generate more energy and ensure that we're more resilient to the way that the planet and the climate is changing. We've got to be responsible about how we develop our energy. And I think that just putting all our eggs in the basket of oil and gas, right now we're producing more oil and gas than at any point in our nation's history, is not a recipe for success. Because number one, we're overly reliant on those sources. We're at the mercy of big oil. And we've got to make sure that we have more homegrown sources of energy that are able to lower the bills. Contained in that legislation that I supported were tax credits for businesses and homeowners to be able to diversify how they source their energy, weatherize their homes, and become more efficient and lower their bills. And so I think we have to be smart about how we develop the sources we need, but also provide our businesses and homes with the resources they need to be able to deal with high costs.
Councilor, do you support bringing more natural gas supply into the Granite State?
Absolutely. We got to do it in a safe, environmentally safe way of doing that, and making sure that when those pipelines come into our state, that they are ones that are very, very, very safe for the people of New Hampshire. What happens is, down in Dallas and in Texas area, we have all of this oil that we're leaving the country. It needs to natural gas, I'm sorry. It needs to be able to come up here to the Northeast. If we don't have that infrastructure, we'll continually have the dependence upon foreign oil coming into our country. That's a major part of being secure in our national defense, as well as having the economy grow because of lower energy costs.
Congressman, why should Granite Staters trust that a government-driven transition to a green energy economy will work and result in an energy industry that can actually stand on its own over time?
Well, I think you're mistaken, because I don't believe the transition's being led by government. I think this is being led by the private sector, by businesses and individuals that I meet every day in New Hampshire that are really hungry for renewable energy solutions and a more sustainable future. People that are taking steps in their own communities to be able to develop resources. I was in Somersworth recently. They're putting solar on top of an old landfill, parcel that wasn't going to be utilized for anything else, and they're going to lower community costs in terms of energy significantly. So those are the kinds of steps that can help, and I think government should provide the tools and the incentives to allow us to move in the right direction, recognizing that it's going to be the private sector and industry that leads us there.
And Councilor, you said last week that the U.S. has been reducing coal-fired power plants, and this is causing a problem with supply and driving energy costs up. So would you want to bring coal-fired power plants back online that have been brought offline?
If coal-fired plants are able to be economically and put back online that are ecologically, environmentally safe, yes. However, if we can bring natural gas and invest in there, it's better. So I would say that we have the problems in coal-fired plants is that one a week are being developed in China, creating bad things for our environment. So I wouldn't want to add that bad things to our environment by firing up coal-fired plants here, but we do need to concentrate on having that distribution of natural gas into our state. We have to worry about the people that would think it's not in my backyard, and make sure that we address all the issues with bringing natural gas to our state.